anyways, enough with the stories here. Let's jump into the game. We have a Protoss versus Terran this time. As you can see currently here on the top right of the map, we have the Empire player in blue. It's our Terran in the game. It is Cas. Starting on the bottom left, though, is his opponent. There we have Creator using the account Barrel here. Not quite sure where that came from.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either.
And the Prime player here in red. And yeah, let's see what he's going to do. Our first Terran versus Protoss today. And on, once again, pretty interesting map, has been around for ages. Timings have been figured out, so it really comes down to not what you can try to hide, but how can you actually overcome your opponent with your strongest meta game.
Yeah, what's he going to do? That's what we're going to find out here. You know, Creator is a guy who is about the metagames. Sometimes people try to trick you. Sometimes people just go for really greedy builds. In this case, it looks like we're going to see a Nexus first because he's rallied out now, of course, the 14th probe with no gateway placed. And in very rare situations, you will see the 14 gate and then double gas, but now even the 15th probe has been set, so we are going to see a Nexus first.
On the other hand, for Cas, we have the barracks now being built at the top right, so he's not going for the command center first.
And yeah, not even a wall either, so it's going to be really easy for Creator to scout once he sends that probe across the map.
With Cas, there are a couple of games that will always stick with me. He really tries or likes to play a little bit greedy, and you know we have players like Dimaga that are known to be very defensive, very macro-oriented, that don't really go for a lot of aggression. And there are these few games between Cas and Dimaga that have been played ages ago, where Cas is like, yeah, I know what he's doing, I know that he's not going to attack me early on, so he goes for double command center before barracks, plays it super greedy, and Dimaga is like, oh, you know what? Just gonna go for the 6 pull this time, and Cas immediately leaves the game without a GG. That was back in the day. It was so funny, and that's just always the case when you make assumptions. You know, when you think, yeah, he's never gonna go for an early rush.
I feel like Cas and Dimaga have this subtle rivalry because they both look so similar that I feel like with their hairstyles, I feel like they look a little bit similar. When you see just like a thumbnail picture of them, obviously in real life they look very different. But
yeah, Dimaga is a lot more buff than Cas.
Yeah, I've noticed this as well. There's the core that goes down, and Cas now has seen everything.
Yeah, he has all the information that he needs. The same is on the other hand true for Creator, who just now moves in with his probe, has a quick glance at the natural, and is then like, okay, well, you're going for your command center on the low ground, so that's completely fine. I'm absolutely safe here.
Yep, probe's now being rallied across, and Creator feels really happy at this point with how the builders have gone. It's very much in his favor. It's almost impossible for Terran to actually catch up, or not catch up, but to put pressure on to get ahead.
That SCV in the middle of the map is in a bit of a...
Was he on hold position?
Spot. Yeah, it was on hold position, and actually not even at the Zelnaga watchtower, so he didn't even see the Zealot coming. That was kind of an SCV refusing to scout. He's like, nope.
And he also refused to like run and save himself. He was just like, nah, I'm okay if I die here. That's fine.
I think it was Demo SCV.
Yeah,
that was life.
SCV just wanted to be a Marine, maybe a battlecruiser pilot, but it didn't work out for him. Didn't quite pass flight school.
And currently what we see is this third base for Cas. So in the main base, getting another command center, playing here for the late game, adding 2 additional racks. You can see that he still didn't get gas. We don't have him with a single refinery, whereas Creator already has gas mining. And now Cas drops the double refinery, but pretty late in the game. Goes for the double barracks first, goes for the third command center. So very strong economy, but a very, very late tech, which will of course also affect his medevac timings.
Yeah, it's going to affect it really significantly. And Creator with the robotics here wants to find out when that medevac timing is going to be. And on this map, we've seen some players go for fast third bases, like Parting, for example. That's not going to be what we see from Creator in this game. Looks like he wants to build his infrastructure first. A little bit supply block to actually even have to make that double pylon.
And now in the bottom of the ramp for Cas, we see the bunker, trying to protect himself a little bit. As mentioned before, with the late gas, the tech of course for him starts very late, and now actually also adding the engineering bay. If he goes for the double engineering bay and the upgrades, this would mean that his medevacs are really, really late. He will have well upgraded marines and a bio army, but without the medevacs it's just so difficult to put pressure onto the Protoss player. You can't drop, you cannot really fight him, you can't use your stim, so you want to have the factory and then the starport as soon as possible.
And there are some nasty Colossus timings that can really get you if you don't have those medevacs out, and also if you get the medevacs, but you're trying to get the medevacs out, but then there are Colossi coming. Then you have to make Vikings. You can't make as many medevacs. That can get weird as well.
Third base now coming up for our Protoss player, for the Prime player. He does not have the Observer in his opponent's main base just yet. It's already on its way, just now being rallied across the map. Let's have a quick look if Cas is already anticipating that there will be an Observer. No Marines around. Creator is kind of famous for losing Observers.
Yeah, we'll see if he can keep these alive.
That is actually the worst drinking game that you can ever play, guys. If you always drink a shot when Creator loses an Observer, you will end up being drunk after only 5 minutes.
Yeah, don't try that at home. Actually, I wouldn't do it.
We kind of tried to go for that once in the GSL, and it turned out that Creator was able to lose about like 10 observers in the game.
I think he lost over 10 observers that game. That was pretty insane.
Yeah, so let's find out what exactly.
Oh, he almost lost that one. That was scary.
Oh, I'm actually more surprised that he saved it, you know?
Yeah.
I would expect Creator to just sacrifice the Observer and fly straight into the missile turrets. Like, oops, okay.
Barely did not, but now Cas kind of knows where it is. He's not going to chase it. He's like, he'll probably just lose it on his own. I don't need to worry about this.
Double Fortress now coming up. Creator style and also the robotic spay, whereas we still have one observer that did not see the expansion.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. When Creator is just known for making observers and not really using them, I have to say it's one of his weaknesses. Like, he has 2 observers that see the exact same thing and neither of them are checking for the third base. So that's a bit of an oversight, I feel. Even though he has the Nexus up first and he's going to be pretty okay with the situation he's in now, he would have liked to know exactly what's going on.
His timings, on the other hand, are well thought out so far. We have him finishing the robotic spay, and Colossus #1 is immediately being built. Double upgrades, of course, with the forges that he completed. And in his opponent's main base, we have Cas with the +1 armor upgrade now. Relying on the solo engineering bay. And this also means that if Creator does really chrono boost his forge over and over again, which is actually right now not the case, then he will be able to get a little bit ahead in the upgrades very soon. Already building here the Twilight Council so they can access +2/+2.
Something else to consider is with this move out, I don't know if Cas is actually going to be able to hit that third with the Colossi coming here. It's going to be very close. His timing is very tight. And this is what Cas is known for. If he's not playing for the drop harass yet, he's going for these aggressive timing attacks. And I think that Creator should be prepared.
Yeah, he knows about it. He has the Observer right next to the army. He actually followed it most of the way. So he knows exactly what's coming here. His extended thermal lens will not be ready, but maybe with good chrono boosting, his upgrades will be done.
Yeah, just look at this timing for Cas. He's hitting right before the 1/1 is done.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think the Creator will be able to get those upgrades unless he's able to delay cast. But here comes the Terran player trying to find an opening. The scan ahead. He sees the army and he's like, well,
those Immortals are really scary too. He's not ready to commit without many more medevacs there. And I think he's actually just going to start going for drop play rather than attacking head on at this point.
And now you can see that +1/+1 is done, and Creator immediately chrono boosts again, goes for +2/+2 in his main base and the double forge. So he's already ahead of Cas when it comes down to the upgrades. Wants to try to get counter for the Colossi though. He scanned them, he knows about them, and now he's heading into Vikings, which means that his medevac count will only be at 4.
By the way, Creator started a third Immortal. That's really interesting.
Drop in the main base now for Cas, a little bit late to the action, but here comes Creator, saves his Immortal, tries to take down his army, but we have another force running into the natural. Cas with a multi-pronged timing attack, and he does a really huge amount of damage here.
Yeah, he's taking out so many probes. This is a great way to split your army. This multitasking that we talked about before the series even started is really working out for him right now. The cannon that was in play here, definitely going to help out now, and it looks like he will finally clean this up. And actually, I feel a better trade in total for Creator because he was so ahead in economy since he has third base up so much longer.
And also, there was 14 harvesters killed, but if you look at the harvester count, it's still 62 to 75.
And this is not a good trade here with the drops.
So close. Nearly taking down one of those medevacs, but with 9 hit points left, Cas is just barely able to save it. But yeah, you're right. If you just look at how much damage he actually did, it looked scarier than it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Creator had good splits here. So he had this army in the main base. He had immediately a warp in ready at the at the third base. Was protecting his natural.
The cannon was there.
Yeah.
Again, Creator with a lot of observers, but no vision of this command center, so he doesn't know what's going on.
By the way, guys, the cannon is not only important because you have something that can deal with your opponent's army, but it's more about if you move those fire units into the mineral line and there's no cannon, then immediately the Marines Marauders will target down the probes. If there's a cannon on the other hand, they will target down the cannon first. And if you try to kill harvesters instead, you have to manually click on them.
Yeah,
you will overkill them.
Yo, overkill, exactly. You want to have like 3 Marines shooting at each probe, but there's no way, not even the best StarCraft 2 players could actually target that properly. You're so right. That's all about the priority there. It's one thing that players have learned. You buy a few extra shots there, get your units in. It's all about the time. And also, you know, if you have the cannon there, maybe it will kill a medevac or two. This base is spotted by a pylon, and oh, this is going to be close actually. I think he will have saved it though.
Nah, no right click on this.
Yeah.
That's the problem that he had. He just warped it in and he auto attacked the command center, but as soon as the units were close enough, it changed the priority. So yeah, the auto targeting, we just talked about it, and there it was an actual.
Yeah. By the way, a few zealots up here to the north to protect this expansion against just a possible run by with marauders. I like that. It can buy us some time. Creator very aggressive with these stalkers. Gotta be careful though. Doesn't want to blink too far forward.
Yeah, he sees this army, doesn't he? Oh no, barely just doesn't see it. Now he knows that there are a few marauders walking towards him, and he sees the scan as well.
Uh-oh, this is
out of
awkward.
position though.
Yeah, this is definitely not good for CreatorPrime. Trying to eliminate the Colossus. It does get one, and the second one very low on hit points. He's going to lose it with another volley.
Wow, not even a single shot of those Colossi. Now a nice flank here by Kas, using immediately, not obviously the stim. He's already had in supply. He has good upgrades. Not the best though. Creator is a little bit ahead, but can he really withstand this much pressure?
He needs Storm. It's not quite ready yet, and in fact, with the Immortals, he's buying a little bit more time. Storm is now done, and here they come. Immortals. I've never seen this many Immortals at this late into the game, but Kas may just have too much Immortals. Not always good when you have medevacs out to heal.
But somehow Creator is able to push Kas back, at least for now. 4 bases against nearly 5 now. And Kas once again in the supply lead. Just look at the bank that he has here.
That medevac
already.
Yeah, medevac does get targeted down. That was a scary call. But look at the upgrades, 3-3 for Creator about to be done, and Kas a little bit behind in that regard, and that's going to come into play as Creator does have an insane economy with that 4th base up and running right now.
Yeah, the upgrades, that's what Creator has to rely on for now. He is down in economy, and Kas is doing a really great job in this first game. That multi-prong attack earlier might not have done as much damage as he liked, but those timings that he executes here really make Creator struggle. He is definitely in a position now where it's very difficult for him to engage, especially since we not only have the Ghost Academy, but he's already researched the Mobius Reactor. We don't see ghosts for EMP though.
Yeah, and uh-oh, this is not a good engagement from Kas. He needs to get out of there. He's going to lose actually several of his flying units on retreat. The medevacs are going to go down here. The Archons, if they target it right now, could kill those medevacs in one shot.
And suddenly Creator is ahead in supply. He is reinforcing with gateway units. We don't have those ghosts that I talked about. So now on the production tab. But the problem is if now storms hit, Kas won't be ready and he's backed into a corner.
Yep, the Colossus needs to be targeted. In fact, he's not doing that. But the position here is great for Kas. Even so, he just does not have enough repair to keep his Planetary alive. Planetary is about to fall, and the Colossus will come in and close the distance, taking out more SCVs. Kas in a lot of trouble. He may actually find himself losing game number 1. Even though his economy was so good, his army was not strong enough to hold against the 3-3. Yeah. You can see his upgrades are getting closer right now, but that upgrade advantage, Creator knows exactly how to use it. He's so good at that. That's what he's known for.
Exactly. That's what we mentioned earlier. His timings are perfect with the +3/+3, and he hits it again, and he does his damage. He goes in with a strong gateway army, and especially those zealots. They are so strong. They are so buffed with the 3rd armor upgrade, and of course the attack damage, the charge as well. He's going in here. And I am not quite sure if Kas can really hold this. This is just so much army supply right now.
Yeah.
114 against 17 favor upgrade.
He's going to kill his command center. The SCVs are going to die on their way long distance mining back into the main base. And Kas, he can't really break down this ramp, but if he stays up there, then Creator can just go and kill all his bases. Creator says, I'm going up here. There could be some really good EMPs, but even with those, I don't think he can hold.
And that's the Colossus on the low ground, and Creator realizes that engaging here might not be the best idea. But as long as he makes sure that those bases, the 3rd and the 4th, are going down, I think he can't lose this game. He has 4 bases, he has the gateways to just warp in again, and now with the additional Colossi and the High Templars, this is just so much potential damage for him to show.
I think Kas is just scanning here, trying to figure out how reasonable it is for him to just even stay in this game. Here we go. Colossi trying to engage here, but the Viking volleys were pretty good.
And the EMPs too, he hit perfect EMPs here. Creator was completely clustered up, and that's something that Cass used to his advantage.
Yeah, and Cass is actually just a little bit down in army supply. The deficit is more so in harvesters, so that's something to consider as well. Cass knows exactly how to play from behind in the situation, using mules, try to make a better army supply, but these run-bys are really shutting him down. And here comes the stalkers at the bottom right. As long as he can get behind that mineral line with the stalkers, the planetary is not going to be useful.
He holds position at the natural, and then he sends units to the 3rd and 4th, and here comes the main battle again. Nice EMP so far for Cass, but he's so far down in supply that it's not gonna matter. He's being lured down the ramp, and this gives Creator the surface area that he needs to make his zealots.
Yeah, +2 shields is almost done for Creator, but +1 is already done, even adding some additional buffer for that damage. The Archon's tanking it now. The last Colossus does fall, but it doesn't matter because the ground army here is so strong, and there it is. GG.